Hello everyone, welcome again to Master United Insurance's Line and Length. It's the cricket program where we look at the sport not only in the region but internationally as well. I'm your host Barry Wilkinson. Hello to all of our friends, especially on Digicel, Sportsmax and Scene TV. Well, it's a different week but the same story continues to evolve surrounding the maze called West Indies cricket. We're not quite sure yet as to what is happening surrounding this issue with the players abandoning the tour of India and where it all stands now as we go forward. Of course, before we record this program, we know that there was an emergency meeting held in Trinidad and Tobago this weekend, and we wait to hear what has emanated from that. But certainly, everyone still seems to be in the wilderness about the players leaving the tour, and also what did the West Indies Cricket Board do, and what did WIPA do to perhaps start all of this. So everything is still up in the air. On today's program, we're going to hear from a man who has played cricket at the highest level, who gives not only his take, but gives some very good advice. Before that though, Brian Lara, perhaps one of the best batsmen, not only the Caribbean, but the world perhaps might have ever seen, because he's indeed the world record holder. He's been having his say and his take on this issue.
First of all, it's very unfortunate. As a former cricketer, it's not something that you want to see. It's not something that, you want to have West Indians involved with. I mean, it's a big effect on not just the cricketers, the administrators, and also all the stakeholders. We have sponsors in the Caribbean. We have the people, the public, who really love the game. So it's something that you don't want to see at all with West Indies cricket associated with it. The players will always bear responsibility. Any fracas, any situation where there's going to be, a public dispute, you have to accept some responsibility. We got a tour here starting in the middle of December, and I'm hoping that the West Indies could come out to South Africa. I mean, Cape Town is a wonderful place for me to spend the New Year's, and I'd like to get out to South Africa as well.
Well, always interesting to hear what Brian Lara has to say. With me now, Roland Butcher, former England player, of course, and from Barbados. Roland, it's good to have you. Our co-host Andrew Seeley, always on hand with the big news. First of all, Brian Lara seems to be, I would say, a bit surprised, a bit regretful about what has happened. What is your take on this issue, and where do you see it going at this particular stage?
Barry, I think Brian Lara is pretty right in what he says. I think it's taken everybody by surprise. If you go back as far as September, when this new collective bargain agreement was signed, it was all smiles, it was all in the newspaper, it was on the TV, everybody seemed to feel that the old days of WICB and WIPA scrapping with each other was gone. So this thing really came as a shock. As far as I'm concerned, I think there have been mistakes made by all parties. Obviously each party is going to try and put the blame on the other, but when you really examine the whole situation, you'll find that all parties really are to blame.
Now, our investigative reporter Andrew Seeley has been out and about. Andrew, I know you've been speaking to some very influential people. What is the latest with this saga? We all know it surrounds the players unhappy about their pay being cut by at least up to a maximum of 75% in some cases. What is the latest that you're getting from your sources on the ground?
Well, I think the latest and perhaps the most interesting one, and I know this is going to take Roland by a bit of a surprise, we understand that the Board of Control for Cricket in India is suggesting that a resignation of the president of the West Indies Cricket Board could solve this crisis. Is that not an interesting one? I think, Roland, I know you haven't heard it before. The Board of Control for Cricket is suggesting a resignation of Dave Cameron.
Well, that's a very interesting situation.
Would that really solve the problem?
Well, I'm just trying to see how the resignation of Dave Cameron at the insistence of the BCCI, how that will actually benefit the BCCI, unless there's something that we do not know.
But apparently, Roland, there's a whole lot that we don't know. But remember, I think one of the key points is that the Indians feel very snubbed. They say the responses from the West Indies Cricket Board, led by the president, Dave Cameron, the responses to their requests and to their concerns when the whole saga started to unfold have been very unsatisfactory. And they remain very dissatisfied with the responses they have gotten from West Indies Cricket Board, even to this stage.
I mean, did they say what they wanted the WICB to do?
I can't say that.
They haven't
outlined it
on this date prior to the weekend recording. They have not outlined it yet formally, but it is well documented that their claim could be as much as $45 million US. Whether or not they will follow through with that entire claim or ask for other things, what is certain is that seems to be the figure that at the moment is going out there for the West Indies Cricket Board to chew on.
So that's the figure on Dave Cameron's head. He's a very expensive president.
Well, he's just not. Dave Cameron is not just president of Dave Cameron. He's president of the West Indies Cricket Board, an institution that goes way back before you were perhaps even born, and a legacy.
Not perhaps. Definitely.
Well, I'm not quite sure his age this year. And a legacy that stretches back way back. So he happens to run an institution that is revered and well sought after.
Well, that is true. I mean, I have done a little bit of investigation to try and find out what has happened in this situation. You would have heard that Dave Cameron would have said, look, I cannot deal with the players, I will deal with BIPA. On the face of it, it's perhaps something that he should not have said. But I am understanding from various people that there are reasons why he could not actually meet with the players. And I think it goes back to the old collective bargaining agreement. And I think it's in this new one, whereby, you remember the West Indies Cricket Board had to pay over $800,000 US dollars, I think to Sarwan, Lendl Simmons, and one other. And I understand that basically, when they got together, the question to the WICB, did you speak to Lendl Simmons? Answer was yes. $200,000. So it cost them $800,000 because they spoke to the players. In the agreement, I understand the agreement is the WICB has to speak to the union and not to the players.
Well, this is a very interesting take, because that might not have been perhaps known by some people who think it's as easy as him just going to meet with the players.
Exactly.
And do you have this on good ground, Roland? You are a board member of the Barbados Cricket Association.
I'm not saying it's going to be said, but I have this on very good authority.
We're just trying to figure out, Roland, which hat are you wearing at the moment?
Right now,
kindly confirm to Massey United Insurance Line and Length viewers which hat you're wearing at the moment.
I'm not wearing a hat at the moment. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is my understanding.
We all want to get there.
So I think the way Dave Cameron said it was probably incorrect. I mean, he probably could have said, for whatever reasons, we are not able to speak to the players, but we can speak to the union.
But therein lies the problem, Roland, because if the players have indicated that the union cannot speak on their behalf, and they have put it in writing, we are therefore running up against another roadblock. So there's so many roadblocks, I don't know how you get on the highway down the road at all.
But can I ask a question?
Of course.
Can 16 players make a decision for over 200?
Well, I don't.
Because
apparently they've made a decision for 16, not for 200.
No, but what I'm saying, but they've asked the president of WIPA to stand
resign.
down.
Yes.
They said WIPA don't represent us anymore.
Right.
So
they said the players on tour.
On tour. So the 16 or 15, whatever.
But what I'm saying, but WIPA represents all the players.
Right.
There are over 200 plus players who are WIPA. If you want to remove the president, surely all the members have to do that.
Yeah.
It can't be the 15 saying, well,
and it has to be at a special general meeting. It cannot be via an email.
But I suspect that this new arrangement that allows for the first class cricket, I would imagine that Wilbur Hines, if not Wilbur Hines as president, WIPA themselves would be very favorable with those 90 players who have just received contracts.
Well, of course, that's a no gamer there, Roland, for sure.
So his position is, if anything, strengthened. I think basically there are problems here. West Indies Cricket Board, really, the player should not leave without a contract. I mean, that really that is standard.
And perhaps that's the genesis. It's probably unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, they said there were a whole stream of reasons because of all the various tournaments and players being in various places. But it doesn't matter. The contract should have been available for vetting and signature prior to the tour.
Well, of course. I mean, if you're leaving home to go to work, you must know what you're going to work for. So You must
And
have
your terms and conditions.
Yeah, you must have the opportunity to say yes, this is okay, or no, this doesn't suit me. So that is the problem the West Indies Cricket Board made, not having those contracts available. The next problem now is, as reported, if WIPA as the union did not inform the players and get the okay, then that's
new numbers. Yeah.
That's the problem. That's their fault.
Yeah.
But I will not condone what the players done whatsoever in terms of abandoning the tour. That is unforgivable.
All right, interesting stuff there from Roland Butcher. When we come back on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length, we're going to hear a bit more from him, and then later on we're going to go around the world and see what's happening in the world of cricket. Otis Gibson certainly is making some moves. We'll tell you where he's heading and who he is going with. Don't move, but first you're watching Mass United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Call. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Call.
Live cool with Limacol and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Limacol is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Limacol.
So we're back on the program now. Just this past week, reading the paper, listening to the radio, many people, of course, will be looking and discussing about this controversy with West Indies cricket. But in the midst of it, you would have heard that some of the players, they don't seem to be too bothered. They're heading to South Africa to play in the Ram Slam competition. Chris Gayle, Dwayne Bravo, Darren Sammy, Andre Russell, Kieran Pollard. You know, they're going off to play in the Ram Slam. Now, this issue continues to be a hot topic. Do you think that them playing in the Ram Slam sends the message that perhaps we are not too concerned about the issue ourselves?
I don't know if you can be as clear as that. I think it says that these are professional cricketers. They've been given an opportunity to play in yet another T20 tournament. They're all over the world. It's not only, it just seems to have happened, and the juxtapositioning probably suggests more negativity than I think it really ought to.
Well, in fairness to the players, they're all one-day players, well, for the exception of Chris Gayle. So
right,
we're not quite sure if he would have been picked in the test team based on his fitness. So, and I know those negotiations would have been done before this entire thing would have unfolded.
Or would have been ongoing.
Would have been ongoing. Roland, when you would have played cricket, and when you look at how the players have reacted to this whole thing, you ended very strongly just now. You are quite upset about what the players have done. I want to take the side of the players just for a moment for the devil's advocate. They have to make their living because they have a short span in cricket in life. And they've gone on to play in other cricket tournaments. What would you have done if you were one of those players on tour for that particular season?
Right. If I had got to the situation where those players were, assuming that you've left here without a contract, you didn't know what was in the contract, and then you found out what the situation was, I would have certainly liked to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture surely is not just a case of me settling something with the West Indies Cricket Board or not. The bigger picture is, if by my actions will I cause widespread, not just panic, but disruption to West Indies cricket and to West Indian people, because that's the bigger picture. It is not just about the money. So I would have been concerned about that. And really, I felt what the players should have done is, it's not a good situation to be in whereby your money is cut by that situation. If you were not able to resolve it before then, to me, they should have made their intentions very clear. I am going to complete the rest of this tour on the protest, but on my immediate return to the West Indies, We need to sit down and thrash this out. If we're not able to do that, then I am not available for South Africa. Right up front.
Now, the strike rate, and I use that phrase very loosely, the strike rate of the West Indies cricket team in the last decade has been quite high. There's a strike at least every 3 years. So would that really would have made a difference, or would it just been putting cloak over their eyes yet again to get them to partake and then keep on with the same old things happening and they're not moving forward?
No, but in the past, there have been strikes, there have been reconciliations, and there have been strikes again. So,
exactly.
So really, nothing had changed. But all I'm saying is...
So this one is worse than a strike. This is an actual withdrawal of services in the middle of work. It is not like in Barbados where you came to work and people down tools. They actually started work and pulled stumps midway.
Well, the other thing about this whole situation is that their argument was never with the West Indies Cricket Board. Their argument was with their union. Mm-hmm. So in effect, by abandoning the tour, really they've walked off the job, because here am I having an issue with Andrew Seeley, my representative, and I'm going to walk off Barry Wilkinson's job, who is the employer who's paying me. So that is the peculiar thing about this whole situation. In the past, the walk-offs has been because WIPA and WICB could not come to an agreement. So then everybody comes out, WIPA and players together. This one is completely different.
Now, we must ask this question, Andrew. Would you pick these players to go to South Africa if the issues are not solved?
Well, if the issues are not solved, I think the players will find themselves not being picked to go to South Africa. But I think the key element in this whole thing is the BCCI, what they do. Because what the BCCI does will dictate what happens to the others. I mean, if the BCCI decides, look, I'm going to sue West Indies Cricket Board for breach of contract and everything else, it is likely that the West Indies Cricket Board would have no choice but to join the players in the suit.
On the action.
Now, of course, we leave that issue where it is at this stage. The story continues to evolve, and I know a lot would have happened by the time we finished our recording, based upon some meetings that were to be held over the weekend. When we come back, though, we're going to take a spat around the world and look at some happenings in some other things in the world of cricket. Don't move a muscle.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Limacol. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Limacol.
Live cool with Limacol and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Limacol is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Limacol.
So we're back for the final segment of Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. Time now to go around the world and see what's happening in cricket elsewhere. I say elsewhere, but this is still kind of a West Indies story. Otis Gibson, who revealed that he was apparently fired as coach of the West Indies team. We saw him playing here in Barbados in the Mass United Insurance Golf Open. And then we knew he went to England, and now we understand that he's back with England. He's with the England A team, the Lions. He's going to be their bowling coach on a temporary basis. How do you read that, Andrew Seeley? He's gone back to where he started.
It's nothing surprising at all to me, Barry. In fact, I know the ECB were very keen. It had been said that he was not approached, but I know for a fact that Gibson was approached to come back to work with the England and Wales Cricket Board. In fact, Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson have asked for Gibson to be back as bowling coach for the England team. So do not be surprised.
You have that on good authority?
I have it on very good authority. Do not be surprised that if he's going to be back. In fact, I suspect he'll be back in the Caribbean if the Test series comes off in April, May. Gibson will be here as the bowling coach.
But he's had some success, Roland. Not some. He's had a lot of success with that England
He developed
team.
Broad and Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's certainly done that. I mean, with England bowlers, he was the one that really got those boys to come through. It's interesting now that some of these other positions have come up because the bowling coach for India has just parted ways. Joe Dawes has just parted ways with India, so that might be another option. So England might have a little bit of competition for his services.
Oh, and we know that India, there's no shortage of cash in India. And if they get some from West Indies Cricket Board, that will add to it.
Do you think that Gibson was unfairly treated the way that he was let go from West Indies cricket?
I think what happened to him and the way it happened is so quickly. It took everybody by surprise. Obviously, the results were not startling, but at the same time, they weren't a disaster. And if you notice, the early Sammy period, I mean, they did start to get some momentum, and the whole winning of 6 Test matches, even though they were against weaker sides, it still had to happen. But I think when it came, it was a shock. I think it was a shock to him as well. And I think it left him fairly disillusioned with things.
I think the other point we need to make about that England performance squad is the return, Barry, of one Jonathan Trott.
Yes.
He's back in business, back in England colours. They're going to be on tour. And it should be interesting to see how Trott responds to international cricket again, Roland.
Yeah, it'd be good to see, because before he had his problems, I mean, he was probably one of England's best batsmen, and his record showed that he was an exceptional batsman. So I think England would be keen for him to get back into the breach, and this is an opportunity. Let's hope it goes different to Marcus Trescothick when he tried to make his comeback. That didn't last too long, but let's hope that Trott can get past this situation.
One of our viewers had asked us to have a careful look at that controversy about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but because the story was evolving, we were unable to discuss it. That dismissal with Steve Smith, or rather it wasn't his dismissal, he was involved in it when he took that catch running from slip to leg slip. It was a controversial catch because the rule states you're not allowed to move before the batsman plays a shot. The umpires didn't see it that way. What was your thoughts, Roland, on that controversy, which would have broken about 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Well, I watched it on the television, and at the time, obviously, I was not fully aware of the rule. But what I would say is that Smith did not move until the ball was on its way down to the batsman.
You think so?
Yes.
I mean, we're looking at it as we speak.
Yeah, the ball was on the way down. Then he made a decision, having seen the ball pitched or going to pitch in the area of leg stump. He realised then he's got to get around and stop it. I mean, I've seen Darren Sammy do similar things at slip. He's run around to stop the balls as well. So it is something that has happened before. What they might have to do is say, well, you can't move until the batsman has actually played the shot, and that will change things.
All right. Well, we've also had the situation where people have been quite concerned based on what is going on if there will still be the regional first class tournament and the National Super 50. I understand that everything is still well set for that, and there should be no cause to concern or alarm.
Well, that's the word we've got. In fact, our understanding is that the players have in fact been written. Some contracts have been signed, apparently perhaps in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. Contracts have been signed by the regional players for the tournament to start on November 14th. We certainly look forward to it because it is important for the development of West Indies cricket.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the players are also looking forward to it because now they've all got contracts, they can work as professional cricketers, so they're looking forward to it. And it's also an extended season. Now it's 10 matches. I have not heard anything that it is off, so I presume that it's still on. But I would just have to wait and see. It's a couple of weeks from now, and we really will have to wait and see.
Okay, we're going to come back and just say goodbye, but first of all, you're watching Mass United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Limacol. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Limacol.
Live cool with Limacol and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Limacol is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Limacol.
So that's it for this week. Continue to write us cricket@lineandlength.net, or you can go on Twitter and our handle is @lineandlength. On to next week, the story continues to evolve. Stay tuned for coming attractions. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Bye-bye for now.